Welcome to episode 35 of the Tough Draw Talks podcast. I'm your host, Brad Hughes. Appreciate you being along for the ride. This afternoon, we are coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas during the PBR World Finals of 2023. We are down in the historic stockyards at the Brand Room, where if you're looking for an authentic Western experience and some of the best food you'll find, you can find it here. Before we get started, we need to make sure and not only thank the Brand Room, but also thank our presenting sponsor this year, the Lane Frost brand. We appreciate everything Stetson and the Frost family has done for us here at Tough Draw in all of our ventures, including this podcast. Be sure and visit lanefrost.com for some amazing hats, shirts, and everything Lane Frost. Use our code TDT15 for a discount on your purchase. Today we are sitting down with the winner of the UTB event in Tacoma, Washington, three-time PBR Finals Qualifier, and key contributor for the Arizona Ridge Riders of the PBR Teams series, Chase Dougherty. Chase is originally an Oregon cowboy who now calls Decatur, Texas home. I originally met Chase back in 2018 at the Wrangler NFR and have been a big fan of his ever since. Chase, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to have you on. So, Tacoma, you won Tacoma. Talk a little bit about that event and just kind of tell me, because that was one of the biggest things that stood out to me. I watched that event and I saw what happened and stuff. Like, what do you remember about that event? What stood out to you?
Man, I remember a lot about it. We'd been on the road for about, 8 or 9 days. Hit a couple other events, Billings. We stopped in Coeur d'Alene for a little while, and then went to Everett, and then went on to Tacoma. And so everybody, we were all a little beat up, but I actually felt fresh going in there. I had been doing a lot of work outside of the arena to prepare, and it was coming down to the wire for me to make the finals,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to focus on that, but it was definitely in the back of my mind. So, that was a little bit of extra motivation. Yeah. Just when I went into that weekend, I knew I only had 2 events left to do what I wanted to do. I set 2 goals for myself this year, and that was to make the PBR World Finals and to win an event. And I only had 2 events left to do it.
Danged if you did it all in one, huh?
Yeah. I called I got a sports psychologist that I use, and I called her and I said, we're gonna have to set some more goals because we
knocked them out this weekend.
We knocked them out already, and we ain't even 6 months into the year yet.
Heck yeah. Well, I don't know how many of the podcasts you've gotten a chance to listen to, but I like to kind of toss some icebreaker type questions out there just to get you loosened up before we dive in and start really finding out who Chase Dougherty is. So, Chase, what's your favorite food?
Oh, breakfast. I could eat breakfast for dinner like every day. That's honestly my favorite meal is probably breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
Two eggs,
there you go.
Over easy, hash browns, side of bacon, biscuit, a little bit of gravy on it.
There you go. That's awesome. All right, so you're young in your career, but what's in your mind, what has stood out so far as the coolest moment?
Man, I don't know. There's been a lot of really cool ones. The NFR was really cool. Calgary was, even though I didn't even make the short round in Calgary, but I actually rode 4 out of 5 bulls when I went there, so it was still really good.
And you didn't make the short round? Holy moly.
Like, it was tough that year, man. It took a lot to win it. I just had one of the best experiences I've ever had rodeo, and I hadn't been to Canada very much at that point, so it was a lot of fun. The first time I got to go to the PBR World Finals in Vegas, that was one of the coolest. That was probably the coolest bull riding event I'd ever been to in my entire life.
You were in the race for Rookie of the Year that year, correct?
Oh, yeah.
You and Eli, right?
Yeah, it was like me, Eli, and Junior were kind of like the guys.
That's right, yeah. Now, I remember, I have to admit, with Eli riding the way he was and all that, I was pulling hard for him.
Honestly, I kind of was too. I'm not going to lie. Even though I rode my first 2 bulls and felt great, but man, the pain that he had to endure and all the trials he went through to get that buckle, man, it was awesome to watch.
And then have Paige at home.
Yeah, with the twins coming. Yeah, that was cool.
That is cool, man. Do you have any superstitions or pre-ride rituals?
Oh, I got lots of pre-ride rituals.
Oh, here we go.
but I think it's bad luck to be superstitious. You know,
okay.
That's what me and Jesse always say. We're not superstitious, just a little bit stitious.
That's cool. What are some of them that you do?
We the main one is you don't set your hat on the bed. Okay. We try not to do it. If it happens, we just act like it didn't happen. But and there's really not too many that I really try to follow hardcore.
Yeah.
They're definitely, don't wear yellow in the arena, that kind of stuff. Those are things that I definitely don't try to do.
Yeah.
But if it happens, I definitely don't let it affect me. Because I've definitely worn yellow in the arena and still done all right.
That's cool. So if you weren't riding bulls, what would you be doing?
Something in the Western industry. Industry. A lot of people don't know this, but I do a little bit of AccuScope and mild pulse therapy on the side.
Really?
For animals, mainly equine athletes.
Very cool.
Do a little bit of bovine athletes too, but not very much. But it would definitely be something like that. We train a couple horses at home. It's more of a hobby for us.
Yeah.
We try to treat it like it's not a hobby, but it definitely is for us. But yeah, I'd definitely be something in the Western industry. Probably wouldn't be raising bulls though.
Oh yeah?
No,
Why
I grew up on like 2 acres.
Oh, okay.
And not a lot of land, but at one point I had about 8 bulls and 6 horses there.
Oh wow.
So I fixed a lot of fence.
I bet.
And not a lot. And most of if you'd fix my fence first, and then you'd have to fix the neighbor's fence, so that got old quick.
I bet. All right. What's your favorite movie?
Probably 8 Seconds. I'm not saying that just because we're on here.
No, I know.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great movie, honestly. Yeah. Like, I know some of the stuff in it isn't quite, to the point exactly true, but come on, like, it's a great story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the best thing rodeo's got.
It really is the best movie that was ever made about bull riding, that's for sure.
Heck yeah. All right. So last icebreaker question, and this one's always kind of interesting. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh, okay. This actually happened recently.
Oh, okay.
This would be perfect for this podcast, but I met Clinton Bronger.
Oh, okay.
I actually met Clinton Bronger twice, but recently I met him again in Billings, Montana, and he told me that I told him I was trying to emulate some guys, some old school guys, and he told me the best guy you could emulate is Lane Frost. He says the way you
cool.
the way
I
you look,
just got
like
chills
your
when
build,
you said that. Yeah.
It's like the way you're built reminds me a lot of him and stuff.
Huh.
I was like, all right, I never thought. I
That's
never
pretty high praise.
I was like, that's a really good compliment.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So, originally an Oregon cowboy, now you live in Decatur. Tell me a little bit about your backstory. How'd you get into rodeo? Are you from a rodeo family? And if you're not, like, how'd you get into the sport?
Man, I would say I'm kind of from a rodeo family. Not really. My dad's a first-generation cowboy.
Okay.
He was born in Oakland, California. Kind of moved all over the state. Family was big into tennis. And he just decided he wanted to be a bull rider in high school and ended up riding bulls and wasn't real good at it, but kind of knew the basics. Went to a John Quintana school when he was young.
Yeah.
And JJ Quintana, he's a judge now for the PBRs. So my dad rode bulls till I was 2 years old. I just grew up around it a little bit. He had all his old gear around. I wanted to do it, loved it. Grew up watching 8 Seconds, riding horses and calves and whatnot.
Very cool.
That was kind of how I got into it. We grew up in Canby, Oregon, which is about an hour south of Portland. Kind of what I would call the bad side of Oregon.
Yeah. And did you rodeo in college? Did you go to college and rodeos?
High school rodeo, junior rodeo, did all that. Went to the high school finals all 4 years, and then
very cool.
My dad really wanted me to go to college and get a degree, so I went to Montana State in Bozeman for a year and a half, 3 semesters. Made the college finals 1 year.
There you go.
Ended up third there to finals. I loved going to school there too. Like, my coach Andy Bullich was awesome, amazing coach. But I was honestly, that first year I went to college, I could have probably made the NFR twice, but I quit rodeoing probably right before Pendleton hit.
Okay.
And just went to school, just went to college rodeos.
Yeah.
And man, I was tearing it up.
Yeah.
Not trying to toot my own horn a little bit, but I rode 16 bulls in a row and then bucked off 1 and then rode another 14 in a row.
Heck yeah.
So I was doing I probably could have went if I'd have just kept going.
That's quite the percentage.
Yeah. And then the next year I told my coach, I was like, man, I got to go.
So you started PRCAing, and then you went over to college and were dominant there. Talk a little bit about the jump back and forth of like going, you were originally doing rodeo PRCAing first, then went to the college ranks. What were the difference in the livestock and stuff? Were the quality of bulls a lot different? Oh,
it was huge.
Yeah.
It was especially for the region I was in, that Big Sky region. And, it was my plan. To go to those yellow buck and shoots before I went to the PBR. So it was kind of all part of the plan, you could say. But when I would go to those college rodeos, I don't know how many they had a year. I was probably like 6 or whatever. You'd get on 2 a weekend. And I went to every one. I think out of 2 years, I think they bucked me off of maybe 3 bulls.
Dang. Yeah.
And you go to the pro rodeo. And just the intensity is the main difference, you know.
Yeah.
The speed, the quickness, the agility in the bulls.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about pro rodeo. You could be 75 points in and you felt like you should have been 85.
Yeah, no joke. Well, so it sounds like you've kind of ran the gamut of going to the highest possible, whether it be high school, junior rodeos, college, PRCA. You have made it to the NFR, and then obviously here we are during the PBR World Finals, your third time here. We're talking about kind of the difference in the level of bull. Talk to me a little bit about the difference even between just rodeo and what the PBR brings to the table when you're at the Unleash the Beast level like you are.
Yeah, so I mean, that, in my opinion, it's every bull rider's dream is to compete at the highest level. In my opinion, this right here is the highest level.
Yeah.
And the difference between the bulls, I wouldn't say that the bulls over here are necessarily any ranker, but the difference is when you go to them rodeos, it's typically 1, 2, maybe 3 contractors. A really good one's going to have 6 or 7 contractors, but you're still just the consistency of the bulls.
Yeah.
Over here, you have one guy that's picking the best bulls in the world to come.
Yeah.
And they're
Every
all
time.
rank.
Yeah. Yeah. So in round 1, got on a bull, hipped himself, got a re-ride. Looked like a pretty hard fall. But you still took the re-ride. What is the mentality and the mindset going into it? If you get on one, you get slammed hard, you get hip checked, stuff like that. Like what is the mentality of like going into that next bull? Because you don't really have a lot of time to really think about it or process what just happened.
No, especially here, you really don't have any time to think about it. But you really just got to trust the process. Like, put your faith in God's plan. Like, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So you can't look at it like, oh darn, this happened. Yeah. Now I'm really gonna have to muster up the courage to go to the next one. It's like, no, this is part of the plan. Just trust in it and go at this second one just like you did the first one, even though it didn't work out the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just calm, confident, and resilient. You just got to be calm, confident in that you put the work in, and then resilient, knowing that you can buck off one. Cody Campbell gave me probably the best piece of advice I've ever gotten from anybody. Yeah. And he told me, if you want to be one of the best bull riders in the world, you have to know that you can buck off 10 bulls that you should have rode every single day, and then go be 90 on 10 bulls that nobody would have ever thought you could have rode. Yeah. That's what it takes to be. You have that mentality, know that you can do that day in and
That's
day
great.
out.
Yeah. So you've mentioned Clint Bronger. We talked a little bit before the podcast about how you've been to some tough Hedeman events. Obviously you're around guys like, being from the Ridge Riders, you're around Paulo and guys like that, Kobe Yates. When you think about the legends of the sport and the fact that you're such an 8 Seconds fan and different things like that, what does that the legacy and the tradition mean to you? Because it obviously means something. And it's interesting because I've talked to a lot of guys. Some guys have that, some guys don't. I don't think it makes them any better or worse or anything like that, but I always just find it fascinating because I'm such a big fan of the sport and I know the history and follow it and stuff like that. But for you, what does that mean to you to be like, to run into Clint Bronger and to get advice from Cody and, and be coached by Paulo and things like that? What does that mean to you?
I might butcher this, but I'm going to try my best. But it really means the world because, those are the guys when I was a kid that I looked up to. Well, I'd see them on TV and I'd think, man, those are the guys I want to be like when I grow up. And then when you do grow up and you get the chance to be around them and maybe they're not exactly like you thought they were going to be, but they're still nice and they're giving you advice and maybe not nice, but it's advice, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to help you out.
Depends if you buck off or not.
Yeah,
right?
they're trying to help you out whether you think so or not. And it's awesome just to have those guys around because they're my heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. The tie to 8 Seconds and the things that we've talked about with that, talked about how quality of a movie it is as far as for this community because there's not really much. What are some things that looking at Lane Frost, whether it be in the movie or what outside of it, we're sponsored by the Lane Frost brand. That's our main sponsor for the podcast and gotten to know the Frost family really well. I don't know if you've ever gotten to meet Clyde and Elsie or not, but anyway, what is that? What do you take away when you see somebody like Lane Frost or when you watch 8 Seconds that you try to apply to your own career right now?
The main thing that I take away from Lane. There's two things. There really is. And I did get to meet Clyde and Elsie one time.
Okay,
I shook their hand one time. It was very brief. I don't know if they'll remember or not, but I think it was at the
NFR met a lot
too.
Of people, so,
yeah, you know, I wouldn't blame him not a bit. And but the way he carried his faith through everything, you know, like the way he believed in God and just trust the process. You know, he really did. Like he never second guessed nothing. You know, he went at everything full force.
Yeah.
And I never knew him. I just know him through books and movies and watching documentaries. But that you can see it. You can just tell that's the way he was.
Yeah.
And the other thing is he always took the time to stop and, you know, sign an autograph or talk to a fan.
Yeah.
You know, those are some of the coolest moments that stick with me. In my own life, Tater Porter. Mm-hmm. Ross Coleman had his invitational in Malala one year. I was like 4 years old, and my dad got me this little bodacious figurine, and he said, "Why don't you go back there and get Tater Porter's autograph?" Because at the time, Tater Porter was my favorite bull rider. Yeah. I didn't know who the hell Tater Porter was. You know, I knew what he looked like with his chaps and his vest on. I didn't know what he looked like with just his riding jeans on. So I go back there, and sure enough, I can't figure out who he is. I'm like 4 years old. I start crying. I got this bull in my hand, and I'm just standing back there in the middle of the back pens. And one of the bull riders comes up to me and he goes, "Man, hey, little guy, you lost or something?" And I looked up at him. I got tears in my eyes. My dad sent me back here to look for Tater Porter. And he goes, "Well, you did a pretty good job of finding him," because it happened to be him.
Oh, gosh. That's cool.
And he signed my bull, and he took me around to everybody that would sign my bull. And
wow, that's cool.
They all signed my bull, and then he got a picture with me. And I still have the picture, actually, in my office. You still have the bull? I still have the bull in my office, too. You still have the bull. There you go. That's cool, like, stuff like that, you know. And I just think Lane really embodied that.
Absolutely. So you brought up earlier a sports psychologist, and we've had a few guests on that talk about that. Trey Holston's talked about that with me. What, for a sports psychologist, for you, what does that do? And, and to be honest, what does that mean? Because a lot of people, I don't even think, truly understand what that means. I've had very limited experience kind of knowing what it is. But yeah, for you, what does that mean?
Man, sports psychology to me, it just means getting in the right mindset.
Yeah.
Being able, let me put it better this way. It's like being able to flip that switch.
Yep.
Like being able to turn it on, like, okay, this is game time, and not overdo it.
Yeah.
Because anybody can flip that switch and just rage.
Yeah.
But being able to control your emotions, your movements, every muscle in your body, like you wouldn't think a sports psychologist could help you do that, but they really can.
Yeah.
And when I grew up rodeoing, learning how to ride bulls, we had Myron Duart who helped us. He made the NFR like 7 times.
Yeah.
And he would preach sports psychology.
Really?
And so I've always had read books and whatnot, but I've never actually used a sports psychologist until this year. And I should have started doing that a lot earlier.
Yeah.
I recommend anybody that is thinking about doing it, definitely do it. I use Paige Champion with Champion Living.
So yeah, I've actually talked to her. Yeah. We're probably gonna have her on the podcast.
You definitely should, because she could explain this way better than I ever will be able to. But
I think it's cool because in present day in our society, mental health is something that a lot of people talk about, and sometimes it's considered bad or like has a stigma attached to it. But at the same time, sometimes it's just like you're saying, being able to flip the switch and being able to be in the right headspace to get up and do it. Because again, it's funny because in a lot of ways it goes back to exactly what Cody told you, right? It's like you got to buck off 10 that you can ride, and then be able to turn around and ride 10 that a lot of people don't think you can. Yeah. So it's, it's kind of, it's always been there, I think, that mentality, but it's like to be able to kind of compartmentalize it and focus on it, I've always thought was pretty interesting.
And a lot of guys are just too stubborn to go get help too.
Yeah.
Like they just think they're tough enough to tough it out. And some guys are.
Yeah.
But I think bull riding would benefit greatly from having more guys go to use a sports psychologist.
Absolutely. When you look at the PBR versus pro rodeo, individualized sport, every man for himself. You're riding to make that scoreboard. But last year, you were drafted to the Arizona Ridge Riders. What has that been like for you, just in general? Like, what is that, team aspect and being drafted by Arizona, like, what does that look like? Pull the curtain back a little bit.
Man, for me, it's been kind of a dream come true, really. It came at a perfect time for me, too, because last year I broke my leg in June, and then I had a bad injury in September. So I literally spent 8-9 months on the sidelines last year, and they came in and they helped me and my family along the whole way.
That's
and
awesome.
that helped. That was, and I mean, they invited us to go do cool stuff all along the way. So it was really cool to have like that family support kind of feeling, you know, with the team. And they did a pretty good job last year too, without me. So I'm really excited to get back on and kind of really play my part this year. But man, the team deal, I love it. I thought it was great. Yeah. I like the individual season too.
Yeah.
Right now, in this day that we're in today, I like the individual season better.
Yeah.
But I have really high hopes for the team series.
Yeah. Yeah, I sat down last year with Justin Falisco, and he's a big football fan, sports fan like I am too, and we kind of nerded out talking about the teams. And I've talked about how I really and truthfully believe that the PBR teams and that dynamic could very well put bull riding as like a fourth major American sport.
It really could.
And you know, it's growing. And you know, when you think about, do you ever see a time where the teams could overtake even just the natural sport of bull riding, of just individualized?
Yeah, I see that coming here sometime in the near future. I'm not, like, if it doesn't happen before I retire, it's going to happen shortly after I retire.
Yeah. And what is the plan for you? You're talking about retiring. You're what, 23, 20? You're 25.
25
right?
this
25.
year. Yep.
Okay. Hey, there's people going up and down the road older than you.
Oh, way older than
I just had Jeff Askey on the other day.
Yeah, what, he's like
35.
40? I'm just kidding.
The elder statesman.
I hope Jeff hears this.
He will, I'm sure. I'm going to send it to him and be like, you better listen to Chase talking smack. Now, what does the future look like for you? What is your plan or your hopes for the rest of your career?
Man, I tell everybody I want to win 2 gold buckles and quit, however long that takes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I'm gonna ride bulls until I don't feel like I want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's gonna be.
Will you ever PRCA and PBR anymore?
Yeah, I'll probably me and Kara have talked about going rodeo, and it'll probably happen later in my career.
Yeah.
We'll probably, and it's not like I'm gonna probably. Who knows? It's kind of a long ways in the future for me to really make a set plan for it, but I don't know if I'll really make a run for the NFR again.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like circuit stuff, you know, maybe try and get some qualifications built up to where I can take my boy to see some cool rodeos kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to treat it as, more of like I want to take my family to go see some cool stuff and do what I love at the same time.
Yeah. No, I
Because you can do that with the PBR too, but it's a different...
Yeah, but
it's a completely different atmosphere. Kind of thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you don't get to be on the road, and when you go to the PBRs, it's business, man. It's business. From the day you show up, everybody's running and gunning everywhere you go. When you go to a rodeo, there might be a handful of people, you know, doing that, sure, but there's going to be a lot of people sitting around drinking beer, roping dummy outside their trailer, you know.
It's more of my experience being at both is it feels more of a community aspect.
Yeah, it's
it feels more
it's like that Sunday barbecue feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And so your son, how old is he again?
He's 1.5 years. He'll be 2 in September.
So one thing that I'm always fascinated by, because I know for me there was a big shift when I had my first kid, but how did the birth of your first boy, your only boy right now, but how did that change your mindset?
It kind of messed with me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of made me pressure up.
Yeah.
I kind of let it mess with me more than I should have for a while there. I was really, really focused on being a dad, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted to be a dad. I really didn't want to ride bulls at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I was just doing it because that's what bought diapers.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, I just wanted to...
That's what provided.
Yeah. I just wanted to hang out with him.
Yeah.
And then, once I kind of got over that, then I realized, oh, shoot, I just wasted, like, a lot of time with my bull riding. You know, it wasn't, I shouldn't say wasted, you know, because it wasn't wasted. Because I had that's the time I'm never going to get back. And I think that I spent it the way I should have.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, all right, this is the way. I just rearranged my time management a little bit, and it got way better.
There you go.
And now, man, it's awesome. Like, now he's a year and a half, and he loves bull riding just as much as I do, I think. I hope he doesn't want to ride bulls. If he does, we're going to do everything we can to make sure he's the best at it.
The right way.
Yeah, but he does love to watch it. The thing I think is going to save me, he don't like sitting on them. Like
really?
Calves. He doesn't really like sitting on horses for very long yet. He likes looking at them, petting them, messing around with them.
Yeah, well, keep that in prayer for sure. The future plans, both for yours and your wife's sake.
PGA golf pro.
There you go.
That'd be nice.
There's more money there anyway.
Way more money.
Man, so we have some fan questions. Let me pull these up. I know there was quite a few fan questions, but there was also quite a few people that were just saying, like, best of luck. And Daisy said she wanted to wish you the best of luck in your dangerous and heroic line of work. Somebody said, good luck, Chase, from Prineville.
Oh, yeah.
Prineville,
Oregon.
Prineville,
yeah.
Okay. Another Pratt lady said, good luck, Chase. And then J Mac says, our crew of superstitious fans wants to know if he packed his pink and red winning cinch shirts for the finals, which you had a red shirt on round one, right?
Yep, I did have a red shirt on last night. The pink shirts might have to come out next week.
Okay.
Might have to save them for next week.
We'll get those. We'll get those out. Nathan Harp, which we just had Harp on. I got a question for you about Harp here in a minute. He said, what about Smokestack made Chase want him tonight?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I think Smokestack is like the new bruiser.
Yeah.
People might criticize me for that. They might not agree with me. But, man, he's so cool. I haven't been on him yet, so I don't know what he feels like. But I've been on Bruiser.
Yeah.
And I think Bruiser might be a little bit better to ride than this bull.
Yeah.
But you can be in the 90s on him when you ride him. He's going to go either way. He might switch it back. Like, you don't really know what he's going to do, but he's going to be honest. He's going to be up and down.
But it's true. That's what I was going to say is,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of like with so Blake Sharp. We're going to have Blake on throughout this finals as well. But, Smokestack's one of Blake's bulls. We're going to deep dive on all of his bulls since he's got so dang many of them here.
Dude, he's got a great pen of bulls.
And
great pen.
But, yeah, I mean, when I watch a bull like Solo or Legend, stuff like that, both Cord and Blake are friends of the podcast, but those bulls with the athleticism and the torque and the turn of their bodies and
they're
stuff.
They're a little dirty.
You have no idea, what's about to come.
They're a little dirty.
Smokestack, like you're saying, like he's honest, whatever he's going to do, but it's going to have a crap load of power behind it.
Yeah,
right?
He's a big old bramer. You know what he's going to rear, he's going to crest, he's going to kick the lights out.
Yep.
You just don't know if he's going to go left or right.
Yep.
But those are the kind of bulls that I ride the best, I think, when they can do that. If I can do my job, then I should be able to ride him. If I can ride him like he's going straight, I should be able to ride him like he's going left or right.
Yeah. Do you ride left-handed or right-handed?
Left-handed.
Left-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a preference of into your hand, away from your hand, or does it not matter?
Man, I don't really care.
Yeah. Are you dominant either way?
I don't think so.
Okay. Pretty even?
Yeah. I think I'm more dominant on style of bull than which way they go,
Fit you better?
Yeah.
Does bulls like Smokestack fit you better?
I think so.
The ones that are honest but just powerful.
Buck.
Yeah. So interesting that Harp asked a question. So we had Harp on our last episode, and obviously with the podcast we've only had the pleasure of having two bullfighters on so far. So Bryce Rito a long time ago, back before he made any of NFRs or anything back in 2020, and then had Harp last week. What do those bullfighters mean to you, and what are your relationships with those guys like?
They're pretty good relationships, I can tell you that much. I'm pretty good
butt.
friends with all of them.
Yeah.
Man, those guys, it's insane what they do.
Yeah.
I know it is because I've tried to do what they do a couple times, and you think you're a lot closer to them than you really are. When you go back and watch the videos, you think you're touching them on the nose and you're about 10 foot away from them. I don't know how them guys can
get up there and actually
get elbow deep on their horns and stuff, and they just get run over. Like it was just last weekend, I think. Nathan took a pretty dang good shot for me. Really good shot.
Yeah.
And he just got right back up. I can tell you, if that was me, I'd still be laying out there.
Yeah.
They'd be digging a hole next.
Yeah. So Cash Dougherty, it's spelled different than yours, but it says, what's the best advice you could give to a new bull rider?
The best advice I could give to a new bull rider, like a beginning bull rider, would be to go to a good school.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cody Custer, I think,
Yeah,
puts
he
on
does great ones up in Oklahoma.
I think Gary LeFew is an all right option. I've never been to one of his schools, so I couldn't quite vouch 100%. I've been to one of Cody's schools. He does a great job. I really like the way he teaches bull riding. I'm going to start putting on some schools here, hopefully by the end of this year.
There you go.
But the main thing for beginning bull riders
Chase Dougherty's bull riding school.
Yeah,
Come on.
Coming out. A little shout out. But it's just good equipment.
Yeah.
Spend the money on good equipment.
Yeah.
And then don't get on anything that, like, if you're getting on a bull that's bucking you off, don't get on him again.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young, man.
Yeah.
Go get on something you can ride. And ride him until it's easy.
Yeah.
And then go get on something you can't ride.
Yeah.
Everybody these days, they're trying to go get on these bulls that they can't ride and get on them until they can ride them. Like, that's not how you learn to ride bulls.
Yeah.
That's not how you win. Like, that's not how you don't, like, when you go to jump pole vault, you don't go set a 15-foot pole out there and then just go until you can get to 15 foot.
Half the time you do it without the bar.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go out there and you set it at 6 foot, and then you go to 7 foot, 8
Yeah.
foot, 9 foot. The bull riders, like, somehow forgot about that. Like, come on, guys. You go get on something you can ride.
Yep.
And then work your way up the ladder. It's going to click for you so much faster when you do it that way.
Yep. Absolutely. No, that's great. Chelsea says this is the same question she submitted on Facebook too, but it was the one about did you pack your red and pink shirts? So let's see. Trey Holston.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a question from Trey. Has your motivation changed over the years, or has it been one specific thing throughout your career?
That's a really good question. I feel like
Trey always brings those good ones.
Yeah, he does. The main motivation never changes.
Yep.
Everybody wants a gold buckle.
Yep.
But your motivation to get to that gold buckle, like, there's different levels. Like, there's levels to this shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
So your main goal, you got to have motivation to get to that. So your motivation to get to that gold buckle definitely has to change. Like, I wake up in the morning and motivate myself to go brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Every day you got.
Some days are harder than others.
You definitely have to change it, I would say.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I necessarily classify it as motivation either. You know what I mean? I might classify it as goals, more or less.
Well, you're a little boy. Like, family is a big part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Motivating to keep going. Which actually ties into our next question from the second-hand Sorrel. How the hell did you land your wife? Because, damn, she's out of your league.
Who said that?
I'm assuming that's your wife.
Oh.
Which she's actually in the room with us.
That is my wife.
So she's cracking up.
Second-hand Sorrel comment.
Yeah. She probably did this just so I'd have to read it out loud.
Yeah, she did.
But give her business. What is second-hand Sorrel?
So second-hand Sorrel.
Shout it out a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. My wife is a pretty badass businesswoman. She's had 3 different businesses since we've been together. They've all been very successful. This is a consignment store.
Yeah.
It's just online and a storefront in Decatur. They're just like 2 blocks from the square.
Cool.
And it's pretty ranked. Men and women's clothes. She's got some Western tack in there. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool spot.
Heck yeah.
But me and my wife, we met in Calgary actually at the rodeo.
And what's her name? Say her name.
Kara.
Kara, there you go.
Yeah.
We've got to get the name in there.
I don't want too many people in the room. Might try and steal her.
I mean, I just read that question, so it made it sound like I was trying to steal her from you.
No,
You met in Calgary?
Yeah. She was doing a sports med internship, so she was in sports med every day. And funny story, I actually had a shoulder brace, and I knew she was good looking, and I wanted to talk to her, but I was too scared to go ask her to help me with my shoulder brace, so I never did. And then, lo and behold, I'm at the bar one night at Ranchman's, getting just sloshed, and this beautiful girl just walks up to me, and she wasn't trying to talk to me by any means. She was asking me where the bathroom was, and I was like, "This is my opportunity.
This is my chance.
I gotta do something here." I said, "I will tell you where the bathroom is if you promise to come back and dance with me." And she said she would.
Look at that. Smooth.
If I would have heard, I wouldn't have came back. But she did. She came back, and we ended up hanging out all night that night. All night. I didn't even get her number, and I actually thought her name was Karen.
That's awesome.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
The next day, we were in line at the concession stand, and I was like, damn, how am I going to find this girl? Because she wasn't in sports med that day. and I wasn't up, so I wasn't in there. But like, man, and sure enough, she was behind me in the line concession stand. Got to meet her.
Fate would have it.
Yep. 2 weeks later, got in a big fight with one of my traveling partners, and had about 2 weeks worth of rodeos lined up and about 1,500 miles worth of driving to do, and I wasn't going to do it by myself. So I called her and said, "Hey, what are the odds that you fly out to Denver and go on and help me rodeo for the next 2 weeks?" And she thought I was joking. I said, "No, I'm serious. Like, I need some help."
You can take care of my shoulder.
She came out. She flew out to Denver, and we went to Loveland that night. Went to Lovington, Colville, Logan, Missoula. And I dropped her off in Seattle. I rode every single bull I got on that week.
Oh, there you go. You were like, I got to keep this one.
Yeah. It wasn't a year later we were married. A year and a half later we were married. And a year after that we had a little boy. And
heck yeah. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story.
That was a great way to put a bow on this one. So, Chase, is there anything else you would like to say to your fans and or just fans of the sport of bull riding or rodeo in general?
Just thanks for being a fan.
Yeah.
And, just keep supporting and voice your opinion. Don't be quiet. Like, if there's something that you guys think needs to be changed, say it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we're going to get better.
That's a great statement right there. That's awesome. So, thank y'all. Chase, man, thank you so much for being here. And I've really, really enjoyed this one. Again, thank y'all for listening and to the Lane Frost brand for sponsoring these podcasts for 2023. Without the support, we couldn't do what we love doing here. Make sure and go to lanefrost.com for merch and all things Lane Frost, along with all of their social media platforms. And remember to use the code TDT15 to save 15% on your orders. Also, thank you to Don Stubbs and the Brand Room for allowing us to set up here today. Chase, what are your social handles and where can people follow along with all that you have going on?
So I got Instagram, Facebook. Facebook's just Chase Dougherty. Instagram is DOUGHER_C.
Okay. All right. And we'll make sure and put that on the comments as well.
Oh, that's not it anymore. It's official.
Oh,
it's official Chase Dougherty. My bad.
Man. Hey, we're glad.
My bad.
Glad the wife's here. Glad she's here to pick up the slack. And then thank you all for listening, and follow along with us on social media at Tough Draw and at Tough Draw Talks for more episodes of our podcast as we continue to bring y'all closer to the rodeo community. Until next time, everyone, enjoy the ride.